studios in Soho, this is NYFA News.
Hello, and welcome to our first edition of NYFA News. I'm Roger Richardson. We begin tonight with a look at the top stories. Russian officials said they will go ahead with plans to deliver S-300 anti-aircraft missiles to Syria. Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryakov said the missiles were a stabilizing factor that could dissuade some hotheads from entering the conflict. Russian officials have also criticized an EU decision not to renew an arms embargo on Syria. Social media website Facebook has come under scrutiny as more than 40 women's rights groups are protesting posts and photographs by users containing what they feel are sexist materials. Thousands of protesters are demanding tougher action from Facebook over posts that they say degrade women. More than 50,000 have tweeted in support of the campaign. On Tuesday, White House National Security Advisor Thomas Donilon called for strengthening U.S. military ties with China, despite growing tensions between the two over state-sponsored hacking and maritime territorial claims. Donilon has asked for increased military cooperation in peacekeeping, fighting piracy, and disaster relief. Mayor Bloomberg is targeting local restaurants that offer outdoor seating. He's giving them 100 business days to either pay for using public sidewalks by buying a permit or moving their tables back inside. Hosting millions of visitors each year, people come from all over the world to see Times Square. Donna Matar tells us more about the world's most visited tourist attraction.
Times Square, which is also known as the Crossroads of the World, is the world's most visited tourist attraction, hosting over 39 million visitors each year. The huge number of animated neon and LED signs have become one of New York's iconic images. Visitors have many dining options to choose from, ranging from food trucks to fast food to sit-down restaurants, as well as a variety of shops to suit everyone. The NYPD police are just as big of a tourist attraction as anything else in Times Square. Children and adults alike can enjoy the fun of seeing and posing for photos with Spider-Man, the Smurfs, and many other characters. Entertainment in Times Square is endless for any age. The naked cowboy, who is not actually naked, is a fixture in Times Square. For those interested in seeing a Broadway show, there are many to choose from Annie to Motown to Chicago and much more. Times Square is a must-see for anyone looking to see spectacular sights and capture unforgettable memories.
Donna Matar, NYFA News.
One of the biggest draws in Times Square is the TKTS box office. It's run by the Theater Development Fund, and Broadway lovers can pick up tickets for some of the top shows at half price. For more information, go to tdf.org and click on the TKTS link. And when we come back, New York subways. Love it or hate it, you can't live without it. Welcome back to NYFA News. Last Thursday, President Obama once again called on Congress to let him close the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center. Meanwhile, dozens of prisoners remain on a hunger strike. Here's a closer look.
Guantanamo Bay. For some, it's just a name. For others, it conjures up memories of this dialogue between Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
The truth is that Guantanamo Bay is a United States naval base located on the eastern shore of the island of Cuba. The land for the base was leased by the United States from Cuba's first president in 1903. In 2002, President George Bush designated a portion of the base as the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center, created to detain and interrogate enemy combatants in connection with the War on Terror, and specifically those who played a role in 9/11. In 2005, prisoner Shakir Amir organized a hunger strike to protest prison conditions and treatment. Authorities state as many as 50 prisoners went as long as 26 days without eating. Eventually, force feeding ended the original hunger strike. Many of the camp's visitors have described what they felt were good conditions, especially compared to other prisons, both domestic and abroad. They cited certain amenities such as a soccer field that features daily prison games and religious tolerance by the guards. Despite such reports, the conditions and treatment of the prisoners remain under intense scrutiny. In March 2013, a new hunger strike began, resurging pressure for President Obama to close the base, a goal he first mentioned in his 2007 and 2008 campaign for his first term as president.
I've said repeatedly that I intend to close Guantanamo, and I will follow through on that.
Many in Congress have opposed closing the base for complications surrounding the transportation of prisoners, as well as where to try them or whether or not they should be released in the first place. Even some prisoners who wish to be released fear extradition due to poor circumstances in their home countries. As many as 30 prisoners have asked not to be returned to Yemen if released, according to their attorneys. President Obama has sought to close the base for years, and recently he appears to have renewed that promise.
I will close Guantanamo. I will restore habeas corpus.
Senator Lindsey Graham is among those most against the release of prisoners and the closing of the base, even referring to the inmates as crazy bastards that want to hurt us. For now, the base remains open as these Hunger Games continue.
Meanwhile, here in New York City, a number of protesters have lined up in Union Square to represent Guantanamo Bay prisoners. They are striking against the fact that Guantanamo remains open after it was promised to be shut down almost 5 years ago when President Obama came into office. The protesters have been fasting for 7 days to raise awareness. Today there are 166 prisoners at Guantanamo Bay. 7 months ago, Hurricane Sandy shut down the New York transit system, and the whole city shut down. This city simply cannot operate without its transportation system. Sherry Jomku examines this vital lifeline.
6 local trains. The next stop is Spring Street.
The New York City subway system is the world's largest in terms of station numbers. With 468 stations in operation, it is also one of the oldest public transport systems. The first underground subway line opened on October 27, 1904. That's almost 35 years after the opening of the first elevated line in New York City, which became the IRT 9th Avenue line. Around 4.5 million people ride the subway every day. In 2012, the subway delivered over 1.65 billion people. By annual ridership, the New York City subway is the 7th busiest rapid transit rail system in the world. Subway stations are located throughout the boroughs of Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx, so if you need to get from one end of the city to the other, it won't be a problem. Almost all routes pass through Manhattan, and all but 5 of the stations are served 24 hours a day. The city subway system shows no signs of slowing down.
According to the Metropolitan Transportation Authority,
in 2005, the New York City subway hit a 50-year record in usage with a ridership of 1.45 billion. And so just like the city never sleeps, neither does the New York subway system. Sherry Jamhu, NYFA News.
Just this morning, the Transit Authority finally extended the A train back out to the Rockaways. It's been 7 months since Sandy wiped out that part of the line. Coming up next, something to sink your teeth into. What's wrong with a little self-indulgence every now and then? It's hard to say no when it's a delicious cupcake trying to seduce you, as our Dana Matar found out.
Sugar, oh, honey, honey.
123 East 7th Street, a sanctuary for your taste buds, lies a little cupcake shop by the name of Butter Lane. Opening its doors in 2008, this hidden gem is nestled in the cozy East Village of New York City. People come from all over the city to devour Butter Lane's divine creations. Butter Lane is one of the most unique cupcake shops in the city. Customers can be interactive in that they can create their own cupcakes. They can choose from 3 cake flavors, vanilla, chocolate, or banana, as well as their choice of many frosting flavors from cream cheese to peanut butter, vanilla, chocolate, coconut, caramel, and much more. Butter Lane even has specialty seasonal frosting flavors such as pumpkin for the fall and chocolate malt or chocolate peppermint for the winter. They bake and sell hundreds of cupcakes a day. In addition to the divine delicacies Butter Lane makes in their shop, they also offer classes for the general public who are interested in learning how to bake and decorate cupcakes.
We have baking classes where we actually bake the cake off and then make frosting and decorate them. And then we do a cupcake decorating class where we actually use piping bags and we pipe our names and pipe flowers and decorate them like that.
Students of the baking and decorating classes will definitely take home some valuable tips and tricks.
Definitely learned how to decorate, period. I had no idea how to do it except slab a bunch of icing on the top of the cupcake. So now I know how to do different designs and it was a lot of fun.
Dana Matar, NYFA News.
Talk about guilty pleasures. New York is known as one of the fashion capitals of the world, and it shows. Just take a stroll right outside our doors here in Soho. That's what Sherry Jamhu did.
The streets of New York are where many fashion designers look for inspiration. Some of the best brands ranging from high-end to high street can be found in Soho. It's no surprise that people from all over the world come here to shop. New York isn't called the fashion capital for no reason. Many fashion bloggers keep their eyes on the streets of New York to help inspire the fashion conscious. People pay attention to even the smallest details when it comes to dressing up, from expensive fur coats to branded headphones. As soon as it's spotted on celebrities, there's a good chance it'll be spotted on the best dressed people in the city.
Both men and women are fashionable in New York City and wear the latest trends with ease.
In the end, the street becomes a runway for everyone. Sherry Jamhu, NYFA News.
And that's our show for tonight. For NYFA News, I'm Roger Richardson, wishing you a pleasant evening. Thanks for watching.